fall. All right, there's some showers in the forecast. And live from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres in the final game of this 162-game regular season. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, Nomar Garcia-Parra. So the season is over tonight. It does not matter who wins or who loses. The Dodgers' home field advantage, of course, is safe and secure. However, Clayton Kershaw, it's going to be a big day for him in search of his 17th win of the season and a couple of other notable achievements.
Well, for sure. The strikeouts is amazing. 6 more strikeouts. He will have 300. He will be the third guy in this century to do that. Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling being the other two. And I'll tell you what he has done over the last 16 starts, 11-1 with a 1.25 ERA. Clayton Kershaw going into these playoffs and this start is on a roll, and I think what he's really trying to achieve right now is to mimic the regular season into the postseason. That one-hitter against San Francisco clinched it for the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw was on the mound. That was fantastic. But what do we got behind him today?
Well, I'll tell you, we got a lot of guys that we're going to see in the postseason, guys who are also trying to get ready and primed and ready for that postseason. You see guys like Carl Crawford in the lineup. You'll see Adrian Gonzalez in the lineup. You'll see Corey Seager in the lineup. A.J. Ellis, Andre Ethier, names that have been an integral part in winning this division and taking them to the 3rd consecutive postseason. These guys may not play the entire game, but they're going to make sure they're sharp. So come 5 days later, they're ready to take on those Mets.
Jimmy Rollins will not be in the lineup. He's made out the lineup card. He is the manager in the final game of this season. Clayton Kershaw in search of win 17. Back with the lineups in first pitch right after this. brought to you by the 2015 Jeep Cherokee. With an EPA estimated 31 highway MPG, it's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com today. In the 162nd and final game of the regular season, Clayton Kershaw trotting out to make his 33rd start. This game is a friendly. It really doesn't matter whether the Dodgers win or lose. Most importantly, come out healthy and in one piece as they get ready to host the Mets on Friday here at Dodger Stadium. Here's a lineup that Kershaw is going to be facing today. The Padres at 74 and 87, beginning with Melvin Upton Jr. and Derek Norris at first base. Got Hervis Solarte at third, Jerko at second base in the cleanup spot, and Clint Barnes batting fifth at short. Austin Hedges is catching, Alexi Amarista is in left, Travis Jankowski is in right, Frank Garces making his first start of the year against Kershaw in search of his 17th win.
It's a mathematical equation for Clayton Kershaw today. Yes, he wants to get a tune-up for the playoffs, but he wants to strike out 6 batters. They're going to give him about 50 to 60 pitches today. That might be about 4 innings. He has a strikeout rate of 33% coming into this game, so he needs about 18 batters to get those 6 strikeouts.
And that would get him to 300. And, of course, last night, Zach Greinke reached 200 on the season. So the Dodgers' dynamic duo getting ready for the opener on Friday. Melvin Upton Jr. swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Again, with the outcome of this game not necessary in the Dodgers' immediate future. Kershaw delivers inside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike, a tradition that began with Joe Torre, first when he was with the Yankees and then when he came over to the Dodgers. In a game that doesn't mean anything at the end of the year, he names an honorary manager. And today it is Jimmy Rollins. And the honorary pitching coach is Rick Honeycutt's jersey, but Kenley Jansen is wearing it. Here's the 1-2. Norris fouls it back. Upton fouls it back. 67 degrees at game time. Well, we had rain up until about an hour and a half ago, and just as the first pitch was thrown, the sun burst through. Upton takes inside.
You know, I'm thinking about Clayton Kershaw, and also A.J. Ellis has talked about, for Clayton, the game usually has to mean something for him to go out there and see the Clayton Kershaw you're used to seeing. And he says that might be the reason why at times in spring training he also struggles, where the games aren't, are just getting ready for something.
Well, he's ready for something here.
That's what I was wondering, if A.J. Ellis is going, listen, all right, this might be priming or getting you ready for the postseason, may not mean as much, but you still have something to accomplish here, and he's getting closer to that right there with that first strikeout.
So in the back of Kershaw's mind, based on that theory, it's kind of like a non-save situation.
Really is. And I think the strikeout record, getting to 300, he'd be the 3rd guy this century to do it. It'd be awesome.
This is the century that's 11 years old?
Exactly.
Or 15 at any rate. 2 out. No! Norris beats the throw.
It just sounds more impressive to use the word century.
Mm-hmm. How about millennium while we're at it?
Corey Seager making an effort here, but Derek Norris, he gets down the line so well. Yeah, he's a catcher, but doesn't have catcher wheels. He has a lot of infield hits so far in this season, so that is not a rarity for him to get an infield single.
That was his 22nd infield hit. He ranks 11th in the league in that category. He's one ahead of Spangenberg. Who's not starting today. So 1 out and 1 on. And Hervis Solarte stepping in at 272, 14 home runs, 63 runs batted in. So there are some games that count, of course. The Angels in Texas, the Astros in Houston, or in Arizona. Off to the right and out of play. And on the final day of the season, Bryce Harper, batting average is .330.75. D. Gordon is .330.60. Bryce Harper faces Jacob deGrom, who the Dodgers will face on Friday. D. Gordon is facing David Buchanan in Philadelphia. So the batting title is at stake.
And that's a nice little caveat to starting the games all at the same time, where you really can't bow out if you're D. Gordon or Bryce Harper. All of a sudden you get one hit and the other guy's posted his average, and you just say, oh, I'm going to lay off the rest of the game and win the batting title.
That's a good point, Oral. You're right. I mean, we always think about more just the games in itself to try to affect the division or home field or whatever it may be, but also accomplishments like that.
Solarte at .272, and the count is 2-2. And that is strikeout number 2 for Kershaw. He is now 4 from 300.
His first strike out of the game against Upton Jr. was on a fastball up and in, and now Uncle Charlie, and even when Clayton leaves it slightly up, it breaks so big and so sharp in the hitting area that it's still hard to hit.
Jerko stepping in with 16 home runs and 57 runs batted in. He was 1 for 3 and a walk last night. There's a strike, 0-1. Clint Barmas is on deck. And the short right, sprinting in and over, is Ethier, who makes the catch a step in fair territory. Long run, good hustle for Andre Ethier, no runs and 1 base hit. After the first half of the first, Kershaw has struck out 2. He's 4 from 300. Dodgers turn to hit when we come back. He's suddenly ballooning Jimmy Rollins. Wearing Lasorda's jersey, sitting next to Kenley Jansen, today's acting pitching coach, who is wearing Rick Honeycutt's jersey. So this really is a working day off for the Dodgers, and here is the lineup they have put together with Crawford and Utley and Gonzalez atop third, Ethier, Seager, and Ellis in the middle. And Alex Guerrero at third base, Jock Peterson at center, Kershaw pitching and batting ninth against Frank Garces, making his first start of the year after 40 relief appearances.
Just his first start of the year, his first major league start as well there, Charlie. And he'll come at you with a fastball, slider, changeup, and that fastball averages about 90 miles an hour. I was looking at Honeycutt in there. That's he's gotten taller.
Uh-huh. So the Dodgers, this is really a relaxing day, which then raises a somewhat more serious question. What is the What's the MO today for the Dodgers and the individual players? What are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to feel? And does it all really matter much?
Well, feeling, yes. I mean, you want to make sure you're healthy first and foremost. You also want to make sure if there's things that you don't feel just quite right going into the postseason, whether it's your timing, whether it's, your legs, whatever it may be, that hopefully you get a chance to work on that. And to me, it's almost like a spring training game.
To third base, and that's Solarte.
It's like one of those spring training games going down to the last couple of days, or even that last spring training game before the season starts, where before the season starts what you need or what you want to work on. You're telling the manager how many innings or how many at-bats you feel you need. So there's a lot of communication going on going into today's game.
In a regular season game or playoff game, you push through things. In this game, you push up to the edge, and you don't go through it if you think there's any risk.
Chase Utley stepping in, his 34th game with the Dodgers at 198 with 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. It's the final dress rehearsal. It's the last day of spring training. Just come out in one piece, healthy and ready to go.
It sounds like on Tuesday the Dodgers might do a little bit of a simulated game. Everybody's supposed to be off tomorrow, and then they're going to work out Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. But it sounded like Don Mattingly hinting towards maybe some pitchers throwing full board to the hitters, get a little simulation.
2-0 to Utley with Gonzalez on deck. Now 3 balls and no strikes.
Would that be important to you, Nomar, to see some big league pitching?
When you have that long off, it's always nice to see that, just to stay with your timing, although it's still just a little bit different because that adrenaline or the thought it is different than when you're actually on in a game.
3-2.
But just visually seeing a 92-mile-an-hour fastball instead of a 70-mile-an-hour from a coach that's up closer like BP.
It definitely helps.
Well, using the boxing analogy, you go to the gym, you work on the heavy bag, the speed bag, you know it's not going to hit you back. Just work up a pretty good lather and get ready for Friday. Angels have scored 2 in the first inning in Texas. How do the Rangers rebound and respawn from last night?
5 runs in the 9th from the Angels.
Talk about getting off the deathbed. Utley works out a walk. Wouldn't you know it, for the Angels, Trout doubled and Pujols homered in the first inning against Cole Hamels.
The same electricity they felt in the 9th as they were climbing off their deathbed, as you put it, Charlie. They're starting to feel it here today, but they still need help.
The Astros failed to score on the top of the first in Arizona. Now Gonzalez takes low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Adrian at 274, 28 home runs and 90 runs batted in. Off to the left and out of play. Gonzalez will finish the year leading the Dodgers in hits, home runs, and RBIs. 156 hits, 28 home runs, and 90 runs batted in. Did that in 2013, leading the Dodgers in those 3 categories. 1 and 2.
Our active hit leader on the Dodgers is Jimmy Rollins, our manager today. 2,422 hits. Adrian is the 3rd active hit leader on the Dodgers at 1,791. In between the two of them, Carl Crawford, 1,916. Some veteran status.
It will be interesting as we close in on Friday. Who makes the roster? Who doesn't? How many pitchers? How many bench players? The Mets have announced their starting 3. Friday, Jacob deGrom. Syndergaard in Game 2. Matt Harvey in Game 3. The Dodgers have not yet announced whether it will be Kershaw or Greinke or Kershaw. But the popular theory is it'll be Kershaw in Game 1, Greinke in Game 2, and presumably then Brett Anderson in Game 3. But then again, we hasten to add, we don't get a vote on it, which is probably a good thing.
The odd thing about gaining home field advantage is that our 3 and 4 starters, if we go with a 3rd and a 4th starter, will pitch on the road now, where they both pitch better at home. Brett Anderson, but now that we have home field advantage, they're going to have to pitch on the road, and maybe it would have worked better the other way, because Clayton and Zach pitch well anywhere.
But I think we do know, and Don Manley has touched on that, he is taking 4 starters. He didn't say which 4, but he is taking 4 starters. So we would assume that it's both Brett and Alex Wood. But we will see.
Well, the other one that could be considered a starter maybe is Carlos Frias. That's a bullpen piece that could start.
The earth would have to move off its axis for that to happen.
I think so.
But you never know.
You try and read between the lines.
No balls and 2 strikes. By the way, the Mets against lefties and righties, they hit about the same. Against left-handed starters this year, left-handed pitching 243, right-handers 245. Ethier on 0-2 with 2 out.
Well, on the ultimate scoreboard watching day, especially for the Angels, the D-backs have just taken a 1-0 lead over the Astros. And the Angels are up 2-0.
They've gone to the 2nd in Phoenix. A.J. Pollock, who's had a career year for the Diamondbacks, hit a home run in the 1st to give the D-backs the early lead. And Ethier's down on strikes. That ends the inning. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left, no score as we go to the 2nd. Express either from Union Station or the South Bay. It is free for all ticket holders, and service begins about an hour and a half before the game and 5 minutes after the last out. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/express. In the batting race, first at bat, D. Gordon with a double today. Bryce Harper is 0 for 1, so Gordon at the moment is up by almost 2 points. 332 to 330 for the batting championship. Barmes leading it off. And he fouls it back. Barmes' first start of this series. Hedges on deck, Amarista to follow. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Clint Barmes. Came up with the Colorado Rockies. And so here is Kershaw in search of his 17th win. He's now 4 strikeouts away from 300. And the 1-2. Call strike 3. Now it's 297 strikeouts and counting.
I'm sure the Padres have heard about the 300 strikeout quest, and you're probably wondering, he's probably going to throw me a slider or a curveball here to strike him out. No, we're just going to paint it on the black.
First out of the second, Austin Hedges stepping in.
That was a pitch as a hitter. You're looking down, you're going, looking at the thinking, really? Was that really on the corner? Only because you just can't convince yourself that, gosh, it was such a perfect pitch. There was no way you can hit that. That was just a perfect one right on the outside corner. Definitely a strike.
Hedges out of San Juan Capistrano, lives in Tustin. Last night, a home run. His 3rd of the season as he takes inside 2-0. So Kershaw with 3 strikeouts. Hop foul and out of play.
That foul ball even shows the dominance of Clayton Kershaw. Just a 2-0 fastball count. Yeah, I'm getting back in the count. 1 out, nobody on, and here comes the fastball, and all they can do is foul it off.
Rangers hitting in the bottom of the first. They've scored a run. Angels a 2-1 lead. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Crowd doubles. Pujols hits a home run to give the Angels a leg up in the first. Rangers still batting in the bottom of the first. They have plated a run. Kershaw now at 4 strikeouts and at 298.
He's making it easy on Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy Rollins doesn't want to go to the mound to take him out when he gets to the pitch count that they would like him to stop at, and wonder if he's going to be able to get the 6. He's on pace right now to get plenty.
Amarista stepping in. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Amarista 203, 3 home runs and 30 runs batted in. And Kershaw in full throttle, no balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 12th pitch of the second inning. Just inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The fans inside Dodger Stadium well aware of the strikeout total. They're oohing and on with every pitch thrown by Kershaw today. The 1-2 fouled off to the left. Kershaw in his last 3 months of the season has gone 11-1 at a 1.25 ERA. Now Marista's a 203 hitter. Little comebacker. Kershaw's got an easy play, and that's that. Clayton has retired 5 straight. He is at 298 strikeouts and counting. Day here at Dodger Stadium. Dodger fans, young and old. And speaking of young Dodgers, Corey Seager leading it off. First pitch, fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Seager at .316, 3 home runs, 16 runs batted in. The acting manager today, Jimmy Rollins, watching his heir apparent take a strike, and it's 0-2. Seager, Ellis, and Guerrero to bat in the second inning. And Seager bangs a base hit into right field to begin the second. And by all accounts, nobody said anything officially. Seager will be the starting shortstop once the postseason begins.
It's sure looking like it.
Well, he's been the hottest hitter since he arrived with the Dodgers. A little more than a month ago. And Ellis.
And he's not showing any signs where he's like needs to be in a platoon situation. I mean, he's hitting righties, he's hitting lefties, and I think for me, what was really telling when they were facing the Giants over there with Madison Bumgarner on the hill, and he was the starting shortstop.
Seager .308 against lefties and .321 against righties.
The patented line now from Don Mattingly. He gives us the best chance to win today. And that phrase is huge in the playoffs. This is not a development league. This is a production league. But it doesn't look like this young man needs much development. He's ready to wear.
2-1 to Ellis. Guerrero next. AJ takes high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. AJ's up to 238. And when you consider into the middle of June, he was in the 1-somethings. There goes Seager. Pitches high and inside. And the Dodgers have first and second and nobody out. Ellis in his last 42 games, 285. So and he's been getting on base a ton. First and second. Here's Guerrero coming up. Now there's his stat. 309, 5 home runs in day games. What are we to make of that other than is it a coincidence or is there something to read into it other than, okay, he's 305 in day games?
You know, I think there is something to it in a sense where does he happen to see better if it's really telling, if it's a big disparity?
Seager doubled up at second base.
And then you can write how many double plays he's hit in the day games as compared to night games.
On a line drive.
Yeah.
On Sunday afternoons.
You know, Seager is not hung out to dry because he had bad instincts right there. You go off, you get your secondary lead, you're out on your front foot as the ball hits the hitting area. Now it's a line drive to the third baseman with the third baseman headed towards second. You're going to get doubled off on that if you've played 15 years or you've played a month.
And if the runners just happened to have been going on that play, we would have seen a triple play. But it said 2 out, and here's Jock Peterson. It's been a tale of 2 halves for Jock.
But Charlie, to go back when you're talking about day games and night games, if there's a big disparity, if there's something, then you can look into that. Also, might be looking at, okay, how is he recovering probably on that day game if he's a regular player, you know, everyday player compared to the night games. So there are some to look at and some not so not so much.
It's like, it's kind of interesting, but 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 out. Despaigne is warming up in the Padre bullpen. So Garces could be done after 2. In game 162, it is a bullpen day. Johnny Holstaff for Pat Murphy's Padres. They go home after this and begin their winter hibernation.
Peterson with 22 home runs. Two balls and two strikes. I think I said 22. It's 25 home runs for Peterson. Two and two with two out. Angels hitting in the top of the second, 2-1 over the Rangers in Arlington. Pirates lead the Reds 1-0. Second inning in Pittsburgh. Deep to right field, on its way. If it's fair, it is gone, and it is both. Jock Peterson's 26th home run of the season. A two-run shot, and the Dodgers draw first blood. It is 2-0.
Jock Peterson, we know he's been struggling at the plate. He's been trying to make adjustments all year long. Right now, you can see the adjustments. He's more bent knees. He's not as upright in his stance. He's trying to stay on the ball. He gets a hanging curveball. It doesn't stop him from still swinging as hard as he can and doesn't lose any power. But the key is when you're trying to make adjustments over the course of this season and you've been struggling, you always want to see success. Well, there's a positive right there for Jock Peterson.
Kershaw rolls to second. That'll end the inning. But Kershaw has been awarded a two-run lead to work with as Jock Peterson cracks his 26th of the year. 2-0 Dodgers as we head to the third. To you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at choosenissan.com. Clayton Kershaw sitting on 298 strikeouts. He has fanned 4 through the first 2 innings today. He's given up an infield hit so far. Travis Jankowski, Frank Garces, or at least perhaps a pinch hitter for Garces. And then Melvin Upton Jr. Rocky Gale is in the on-deck circle, so Garces will have pitched his 2 innings and gave up 2 runs and 2 hits in the Peterson home run. So Kershaw just getting ready for next week. And a little statistical addition. before the day is done. Jankowski at 209, 1 home run and 9 runs batted in. And Kershaw quickly ahead, 0-2. Despaigne warming up in the Padres bullpen. Kershaw, this will be the first year he will have led the majors in strikeouts. And there is strikeout number 299. 5th strikeout of the game, 1 out and nobody on in the 3rd.
Well, A.J. Ellis's glove right there, and it doesn't even have to move. When you've got his dominant stuff, exceptional delivery with great deception.
Rocky Gale swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Missing inside. Gale made his major league debut about 3 weeks ago. The 1-1. And looping, and there's Guerrero making the play.
There's a nice play over there by Alex Guerrero, but you know, you're in the crowd and you're looking for that strikeout, that number 300, and even over the course of somebody putting the ball in play, you go, oh. But as we have another look at the Morongo slow-mo cam, as Alex Guerrero was able to get that, but that's the dominance of Clayton Kershaw. That's what he's been able to accomplish over the course of his career. You're just looking for that next strikeout, watching him go out there and just dominate.
Melvin Upton Jr. stepping in, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. He was struck out 3 times last night. And Kershaw delivers a fastball in on the fist and fouled back. It's 0-1. Upton, in 543 at-bats this year, has been struck out 160 times. 2 out, 2-0, top of the 3rd. Dodgers with the lead, and Upton is behind 0-2.
So you're saying Clayton's got a chance?
Fans inside Dodger Stadium think so. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Upton. And with that, 300 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, the major league leader. First time he is in the 300 strikeout club. in Dodger history, the man for whom he is often compared. You know, since 1995, there have been 10 300 strikeout seasons. Randy Johnson in the National League had 5 of them. Curt Schilling 2. Pedro Martinez 2 over in the American League. In fact, Schilling had 3. And now it is Kershaw with 300 strikeouts. And this is Mark Zubczynski beginning the bottom half of the third. Frank Garces would go 2 innings, 2 runs, and 2 base hits. Kershaw's in pretty good company, huh?
All those names. I'm looking at Pedro Martinez in 97 and 99. I got to play behind him during those times, and you became a fan every time he'd strike someone out.
Crawford bounces to Jerko.
Every time they put a ball in play, you were going out there as you're playing behind him and go, oh, just like the fans, and forget that you have to go make the play.
Well, we have been fortunate enough to chronicle a remarkable career. Clayton Kershaw, who made his debut with the Dodgers in 2008. Among all the other remarkable numbers he has posted, of course, last year MVP Cy Young Award. Since 1920, he's got the lowest ERA at 2.44. In front of Hoyt Wilhelm, he of the knuckleball, the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford, Koufax at a 2.76 career ERA, Jim Palmer 2.86. And Kershaw coming into the game today, his career ERA 2.44, and this season 2.16. And it's heading south. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chase Utley. One and 2.
When Clayton broke in, his strikeout to walk ratio was 1.92. The last 2 years, it's been over 7-1. It's increased almost every year. He's always trying to improve, and he's over the last 4 or 5 years, it's always been about cutting down the walks.
Utley strikes out. Hedges picks it up, throws to first to complete it. Second out of the third inning.
Struck out over 11 batters a game per 9 innings this year. Absolutely amazing.
Well, he struck out 6, hasn't walked anybody today. He has struck out 300 and walked only 42 this season. In his last outing in the clincher up in San Francisco, struck out 13 and walked 1. Now Gonzalez, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat.
You know, at the beginning of the season, he had the little slump and wasn't the best pitcher on the planet for that short time. And Zach was very, very hot in the middle of the season, and they were probably nose to nose as far as best pitcher on the planet. At the end of the season, Arrieta gets hot, but I still think that Clayton Kershaw is the current best pitcher on the planet.
And Gonzalez with a seeing eye single with 2 out. Well, you can't go wrong with any one of those 3 this year.
I still think if you had 1 game to play and you had to put a pitcher on the mound for your life, I'd put Clayton on the mound.
My life or yours?
You can choose your guy. I chose mine.
I don't bet much.
Exactly.
Andre Ethier, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. And an easy chopper to second. That'll do it. No runs and a hit. Third of the way through, and the Dodgers lead the Padres 2-0. strikeouts this afternoon to reach 300. And it sure didn't take long. Got Melvin Upton Jr. to end the top half of the third. Struck him out for the second time today. 6 strikeouts, no walks. And Kershaw with 300 punch-outs on the year. And a 2-0 lead to work with. So in the last 15 years, he joins Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling in the 300 strikeout club. And the first Dodger to do it since Sandy Koufax. Dodgers make a couple of defensive alterations as we go to the 4th. This does feel like the final exhibition game back in March. Yasiel Puig takes over in right field. Scott Schebler in left. And leading it off in the 4th is Derek Norris. Infield hit in his first at-bat. In fact, that's the only hit Kershaw has given up so far today. 6 strikeouts, no walks. They've gone to the top of the 3rd in Texas. Angels 2-1. And taking over at first base is Yasmani Grandal. Feels like we should be boarding the bus in Glendale, flying home to L.A. after this game.
I was telling you, this is those final game of spring training. Guys getting the work in. You're going to see people come in and out of here.
And just don't get hurt. Over the last 2-3 weeks, Yasmani Grandal has picked up the first baseman's glove a fair amount of times. Something to keep in mind into the postseason, perhaps. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yasmani, of course, has been struggling mightily at the plate.
With Scott Van Slyke's hand being a question mark, they're looking for other people that could fill in for Adrian.
I'll tell you that versatility from Yasmani Grandal may help somebody make the roster who they may not have thought had made the roster, may have hurt somebody, but they're always looking for that flexibility and versatility. As you mentioned, especially Van Slyke being injured, but it gives Don Mattingly another option, and it gives the whole organization and management staff to decide, okay, what scenario, what situation may come up in the postseason, and based on all of these scenarios, who would we plug in and who should we keep on the roster?
Well, the return of Kike Hernandez opened up any number of different possibilities. And by the look of it, he will be starting in center. And Ellis, of course, has been playing awfully well. Really the second half of the year, Kershaw misses high and in, 3-2. And of course, during the season, it is often a checkers game between the two managers. Come postseason, it is a high-stakes chess game. To second base, and that's Chase Utley. Norris is done, first out of the 4th. Cubs 3-0 in Milwaukee. They're in the bottom of the 3rd. The Pirates 1-0 at home against the Reds, hitting in the bottom of the 3rd. And here's Solarte fouling it off his foot. It's 0-1. Astros and Diamondbacks are tied at 1, playing in the bottom of the 3rd.
We don't want to see this happen to a Dodger today.
It's happened before. He's got that shin guard, and somehow, isn't it always the way, just peeked in underneath it. Now Pat Murphy, the manager of the Padres, coming out to see about Solarte.
If you can play on that, Nomar, what's the minimum amount of time it takes for the pain to go away, and what's the maximum amount of time it takes for it to go away? If you had a 3-dayer and then you've had a 3-weeker?
Let me tell you, Oro, first of all, there's when you get hit like that, you're not thinking of any minimum. There's no, you don't think it's ever going away. It hurts so bad. But
You know, you're hopefully the adrenaline can take over. You can get through the game, and then you worry after the game's over, after the adrenaline wears off, and then when you're taking off the shoe when it's tight, and then you're thinking about the swelling. Yeah, so yeah, I've had some last quite a long time. I've had some bruises on my shin that seemed like they were there for a couple of years. Just a little bump that just slowly went down over the years.
Wow. So what you're saying is somewhere between tomorrow and Christmas.
Correct. About right.
D. Gordon is 2 for 2 today. Just hit a home run. Appears to be closing in on the batting championship. Harper's not yet batted his second time. He was 0 for 1 that last time we checked. DeGrom pitching today has not allowed a hit through 3 in New York. Of course, the Dodgers will be facing DeGrom on Friday. Well, Solarte, limp and all, steps in, and no balls and 2 strikes. Bud Norris is warming up in the Padre bullpen. You get the sense Solarte would rather be somewhere else than where he is right now. He's still limping it off.
Well, the other thing that doesn't make it fun is that you're also facing a guy like Clayton Kershaw, where you know he's got that back foot slider. He's got a ball that he's not afraid to come in on you, that you can foul off there again.
You like that breaking ball?
Yes. That's.
So Solarte prolongs the at-bat. Jed Jerko on deck. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the 4th. A 2-run home run for Jock Peterson in the 2nd inning. There's Glenn Hoffman. Hoffy. Solarte, 14 home runs, 63 runs batted in. Fouls it off to the right. Hanging tough with a bit of a limp.
51 pitches for Clayton Kershaw. They wanted to keep him somewhere around under 60. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody gets up in the bullpen here.
On 1 and 2.
Clayton probably wouldn't like it, but the fans would like it if they took him out in the middle of an inning to an ovation, compared to cheering him when his head is back in the dugout.
I was thinking the same thing, Oral, and I was thinking, oh, if that's it, then that they would have somebody warming up right now in the bullpen.
Well, Solarte, ever since he whacked it off his foot, has lined 4 foul balls. Well, there's Joel Peralta, speaking of the bullpen. That was such a wonderful thing that Bruce Bochy did the other day with Tim Hudson.
Yes, it was.
Inside and low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One of the best organizations in baseball that take care of recognizing things that are going on in the field for the fans are the Boston Red Sox, Nomar, where you played a lot of years.
And finally, Solarte down on strikes. That's the 7th strikeout of the game for Kershaw. Strikeout number 301. Don't miss out on a chance to join the season ticket holders, season ticket seat holders family in 2016 by signing up now for the season ticket wait list. Registered fans will be contacted by a Dodgers season ticket representative on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit Dodgers.com/season tickets or call 323-DODGERS today. So 7 strikeouts, no walks for Kershaw. Ho-hum, another day at the office. Jerko flied to right in his first at-bat. So 301 strikeouts on the year and just 42 walks. And he's likely to finish 3rd in the Cy Young voting. Last year, of course, the Cy Young Award winner and the most valuable player. 3-1 to Jerko with Clint Barmas on deck. Line base hit into left field. Second hit given up by Kershaw. Jerko now 1 for 2, and Barmas stepping in. He was a strikeout victim in his first at-bat.
Looking there in the right-hand corner there, we heard about Clayton Kershaw be about 50, 60 pitches. They said it wasn't anything etched in stone, so we see him right now at that threshold of 60 right now.
Got to believe this is to be his last hitter, if that's really where they want to stop him. And they've kind of shown it with Peralta up in the bullpen. I'm sure Jimmy Rollins has Don Mattingly and Rick Honeycutt in his ear a little bit, even though it's Kenley Jansen standing next to him. You see the conversation going on right there.
So Kenley Jansen in his Halloween getup as Rick Honeycutt. And here comes the manager, acting as he may be, Jimmy Rollins. Oh, he's milking every step of it, isn't he?
The speed up rules are, oh no, they're working right here.
Hey, Jimmy, pace of play.
He knows what he's doing. He's just giving his bullpen guy some extra time to throw over there.
Wearing Tommy's jersey. And I'm guessing Rollins going, it's not my fault, really.
I think I see a microphone on Mr. Lasorda Rollins' jersey, so this will be an interesting conversation.
The end of the season, and what a season it has been for Clayton Kershaw. 301 strikeouts, just 42 walks, as he will lead the Dodgers into the postseason beginning on Friday. So Kershaw's day is done. Joel Peralta's on his way in. And the Dodgers with a 2-0 lead with 2 out in the top half of the fourth. Precisely what they got, including 7 strikeouts and his 301st. Joel Peralta now taken over to face Clint Barmas with 2 out. So Kershaw and Greinke are the first pair of Dodger pitchers to have 300 and 200 strikeouts in the same season since guys named Koufax and Drysdale. You have to go back to 1965. So once every half century or so. So the Dodgers could not have asked for more in Kershaw's final dress rehearsal before playing center stage on Friday. Barmas with a fly ball into left field. Scott Schebler is there. And that's going to do it. No runs and 1 base hit after 3.5. Dodgers 2-0.
drive into deep right field. Jimmy Rollins has hit a 3-run home run, and the Dodgers lead 6-3.
Opening day. Today's acting manager, Jimmy Rollins, introduced himself to the Dodger Stadium crowd with a 3-run shot off Sean Kelly. The Dodgers would win that game 6-3, and throughout the balance of the ball game, we'll be showing you some great flashbacks on the season that was. Corey Seager leads it off and takes a strike. Seager with a single to right in his first at-bat. 2-run home run for Jock Peterson, the only runs of the game. Mark Zipchinski deals outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Seager, Ellis, and Guerrero will bat here in the 4th. Angels are hitting at the top of the 4th in Texas, leading the Rangers 2-1. And Seager takes inside.
Corey Seager with his single off a lefty in his earlier at bat is now hitting .325 off of lefties. But he's also hitting .350 when falling behind 0-2 like he did in that at bat.
And so on the year and up to the moment, he's hitting .323 against everybody. Three home runs, 16 runs batted in. Twelve of Seager's 31 hits are for extra bases. 3 home runs, 8 doubles, and a triple. The other thing about Seager is that he's walked 13 times. And so his on-base percentage is a real fine .409. We're in the bottom of the 4th, the only 2 runs of the game, a Peterson home run in the 2nd. Zipchinski, the second Padre pitcher of the afternoon. So the Dodgers will get a real live off day tomorrow. They can sleep in, take care of the dry cleaning, whatever it is that need to be done. And again, we've been talking the last couple of days about the importance of home field advantage. In fact, the Dodgers will have been home for almost 10 days now.
They'll get in a nice rhythm.
And they won't be long road trips. A couple of days in New York and right back again. It's the road trips that really take it out of you over the course of the year. Those 3-day, 10, 11, 12 game trips. Through various time zones and all of that.
And through multiple cities.
Yeah.
And you're on an adrenaline high in October.
Yeah. You don't mind it.
No. Seager works out a walk.
The hard thing is really trying to calm down enough to sleep and turn your brain off. You know, finding ways to relax because it is so hard to relax.
That's a great point, Oral. That you are riding the adrenaline. You're getting, especially when you have that win. I mean, it doesn't matter, win or loss. Loss you take home with you, and you're thinking about what you could have done better, and that's weighing on your mind.
Zipchinski's day is done. Murphy has come and gotten him, so the Padres are making a pitching change here. It had been Bud Norris warming, and if he would just have the decency to turn his arm just a little bit. It is Bud Norris. We're going to take a break. Dodgers 2-0. Seager's at first, nobody out, bottom of the 4th. making his 20th appearance for the Padres, all out of the bullpen. 18 strikeouts and 14 2/3, but a hefty ERA of 6.14. He'll be facing A.J. Ellis. Seager is at first, nobody out in the bottom half of the 4th inning. A.J. walked and scored a run on the Peterson home run back in the 2nd off Frank Garces. Fastball high and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Guerrero's on deck. Ball kicks past Hedges, and going to second base is Seager.
Probably get graded a wild pitch, but that's one that should be blocked.
Watching Seager run on the ball that kicked past Hedges, he took a big turn at second base. He wasn't merely content to arrive there just in case something untoward happened near the backstop. 3 balls and no strikes. Guerrero on deck, and then Peterson. Ellis walked in his first at bat and his second. Austin Barnes is now going to pinch run for A.J. Ellis. And no doubt he will take over behind the plate. Guerrero lined into a double play in his first at bat and pops to Upton in his second. The Arco top-tier play of the ball game to this point. Jock Peterson, his 26th home run of the year, a 2-run shot. Now has 54 runs batted in, and the Dodgers have their 2-0 lead.
Before he hit that home run, the breaking ball before, Nomar motioned to me that he was right on it, and the swing looked good. And then the next pitch, home run.
It looked better. It looked like, even though he fouled it off, it looked like his bat was staying through the zone longer. Still a work in progress. And to say, oh, then he's locked in, he's right now, you can't say that yet, but definitely positive signs in the right direction.
Peterson with the home run, now 26, a .211 average. Seager at second, Barnes at first with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. 0-2.
Rarely have I faced a hitter that after he swung the bat at me, I saw his numbers. That's what Jock spins right around. See their numbers when they close up to keep the front shoulder closed, but you don't usually see their numbers after the swing.
Well, we've seen Jock all year long. For one thing, even though he's adjusted his stance at times, he doesn't get cheated.
No, he does get cheated.
91 walks, 168 strikeouts, 25 home runs, 19 doubles, and a triple. One and 2 to Peterson. And he's down on strikes. First strikeout for Norris.
Well, we were just talking about how he stayed on the breaking ball, and that one he was actually pulling out in that fastball. So, like we said, still work in progress to try to get a feel to stay on that ball. But that one, you can see his front part of his body going way out.
It took 162 games for Joel Peralta to enjoy this moment. His first at bat. A career .250 hitter.
Been a secret weapon we haven't been using.
Top secret, apparently.
Look at the smile.
Once every 5 years or so. Why not? Did that signal come in from the bench?
Never mistaken him for a guy with wheels.
He's showing them off.
There's no sacrifice with 2 out, is there? The 1-2. All right. So much for that. Now you see why he bats once every 5 years. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left. We'll go to the 5th. 2-0 Dodgers. Center field. Back goes Blackman. He's at the wall, and it's gone! A grand slam home run with 2 out in the 9th inning. The Dodgers come off the mat and lead 9-8. Biggest hit of the year for the Dodgers, Alexander Guerrero. That was the second game of a doubleheader in Colorado back on the 2nd of June. The Dodgers were struggling at the time. They had lost the first game of the doubleheader 6-3, and they were trailing 8-5 into the 9th inning. And then Guerrero with the unlikely pinch hit. The Dodgers coming into that game had lost 11 of their previous 18, and bang. Probably looking back on the 162 games of this season, there was no more improbable or dramatic home run than Guerrero's. Austin Barnes now catching. Austin Hedges is leading off against Peralta, who is 0 for 1 today and 0 for the last 5 years. So Peralta finally got an at-bat. First one since 2010. 1 for 5 in his career. Hedges a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. This is Peralta's second inning of relief. Kershaw, if you're just joining us, 3 2/3, struck out 7, ends the day and ends the season with 301 strikeouts. Dee Gordon, by the way, is now 3 for 3 today. A single, double, and a home run. Now hitting .334. That is well hit to left, but foul. So it looks as if Dee Gordon is going to win the batting title. He's at .334. Bryce Harper today 0 for 2. He's at .329. So unless the Nationals play about 30 innings today, it looks like Harper has run out of time. And meanwhile, Gordon is a triple away from ending the season with a cycle.
That would be impressive. Win the batting title by ending the last day with a cycle.
Got the speed to do it. Got to hit a gapper and try for it.
It was about 4 or 5 years ago when the O-Dog, Orlando Hudson, in his Dodger debut, hit for the cycle on opening day. Home opener. Hedges fouls it back. It'll be Hedges, Amarista, and Jankowski batting for San Diego here in the 5th inning.
Boy, is Dee Gordon's career taken a turn for the better in the last few years. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
The big turn came when he went from shortstop to second base.
And then he was in a tryout for that position and won the battle.
Became an all-star.
And just tuckered out a little bit the end of last year. And Dodgers got a deal they couldn't turn down and traded him away, but it's been good for both sides.
Especially the way Chris Hatcher has pitched over the past month. Kike Hernandez has really been an eye-opener.
Exactly.
Austin Barnes is behind the plate now. And of course, Howie Kendrick came to the Dodgers by way of that Marlin deal. Peralta misses inside. Andrew Heaney would come as part of the package from the Marlins. Promptly gets shipped off to Anaheim, and Howie Kendrick came over. Dan Herron was part of the deal. Miguel Rojas part of the deal to go to Miami. Herron is gone, and Rojas still there. 3-2 to Hedges. Strikeout number 1 on the afternoon for Joel Peralta. Amarista stepping in. The Dodgers have double barrel action of the bullpen. J.P. Howell and Yimi Garcia.
I think J.P. Howell's going to be on the playoff roster. I don't know. I think Yimi's on the bubble. In competition with some guys.
There's a strike, 0-1 to Amarista. Bounce back to Kershaw in his first at-bat. So Clayton ends his season with a flourish, a 2.13 ERA. Third lowest behind Greinke at 166 and Arrieta at 177. Amarista bounces to Seager. There's 2 out. And if you're a professional dealing with baseball and softball injuries, make plans to attend a baseball injury conference November 20th, 21st, and 22nd at the J.W. Marriott LA Live, led by Dodgers team physician Dr. Neil Elatrage. Visit baseballmedicineconference.com for more information. Well, we're going to make a pitching change. The acting manager, Jimmy Rollins, with a big smile. Joel Peralta is not going to be able to talk him out of anything. Primarily because Rollins is wired for sound. Peralta continuing to politic to no avail. So Peralta's day is done, and it looks like J.P. Howell is on his way in. 2-0 Dodgers, 2 out, top of the 5th. To you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. The time is short, but the savings are big at Toyota's Clearance Countdown. Going on now. J.P. Howell to Travis Jankowski. It's high and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Peralta goes an inning perfectly with 1 strikeout in Howell's 65th appearance. At a 1.44 ERA. In 43 2/3, he has struck out 39. Just short of 1 inning. Chopper to first. Grandal takes it unassisted. And Howell makes it look easy. Nothing across for the Padres at the halfway mark of the final game of the regular season. After 4.5, Dodgers 2-0. Padres just hit a 2-run home run, and the Rangers now have a 3-2 lead over the Angels. The Angels need to win. Cubs a 3-1 lead over the Brewers in the top of the 5th. Pirates 2-0 in the top of the 5th at home against the Reds. And that is the big one in Southern California. And the Astros are on the short end of a 2-1 score at Chase Field. Scott Schebler leading it off. His first at-bat of the day. Crawford was 0 for 2. They are playing this one like the last exhibition game in Glendale. And everybody get a participation trophy and go home happy. Schebler, Utley, and Grandal to bat here in the 5th. One and 2 to Scott. Lives in Solon, Iowa, in the eastern part of the state, not too far from the Mississippi River, not too far from Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Davenport. And spring training starts in February out there.
In his short time up here, he's made an impact. He's shown that he can play at this level.
Got some power, good speed. But has been struck out by Bud Norris. Last 3 batters Norris has faced, he has struck him out. First out of the 5th.
As deep as the Dodger roster has been this year, and pieces that have gotten used and exposed to the rest of baseball, it's going to be a sorting out period too when the season's over. Hopefully it's with a world championship, but there'll be a lot of people calling about Dodger pieces, and there'll be a lot of chips that will have to be decided on.
Wasn't that one of the big things that
the new Dodger front office was talking about creating depth, and I think the depth was just not for the season and the players on the field, but also depth as far as possible moves or trades or acquisitions that may be needed in the future.
Utley is 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. A Peterson home run in the second, the only runs of the game.
And one of the currencies in the big leagues is just the opportunity to get an at-bat, the opportunity to pitch an inning. And the Dodgers have used their currency very well this year to show different people what is here and what they have.
They've used everybody. 39 players.
Well, sometimes you have dead wood on your team, though, and you just have to play somebody because of a contractor. You have to play people because you have no depth, and you're actually wasting the currency of at-bats and innings and different things. To develop a player, you can use that currency. To produce a championship, you can use that currency. And there's just so many ways to spend an at-bat, spend an inning of somebody pitching or playing defense.
0-2. Utley with a fly ball to left. Amarista going back. And he makes the catch.
The flexibility the Dodgers have in the payroll, the flexibility of being a large market club, and the great fan support, the 3.7 million fans that have come through Dodger Stadium this year. That provides a currency that they have flexibility to change pieces, to move roster spots, to make trades, to get the best product and the best players possible on the field.
Dodgers once again lead the majors in home attendance, averaging 46,500 per game. Grandal with 2 out. Takes a strike, 0-1. Dodgers end the year with the largest road attendance, averaging nearly 35,000 away from here. Usually it's not always the best teams that draw the biggest road crowds. Usually it's the worst ones. Why? Because you have the giveaways. So when a bad team comes in, you're likely to see good stuff being given away, and folks will descend through the turnstiles. But the Dodgers, their act at home and on the road has worn well this year. Last year they won 94 games. They win today, it'll be 92. Last year they finished 6 games in front of the Giants, and going into the final game today, they're 7 in front. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. And Grandal takes it in the dirt.
Long forgotten right now is the anxiousness that there was in Colorado after being swept. The anxiety of going into San Francisco and needing to beat them once. And now the focus is forward on the Mets.
Yeah, a week ago today, the Dodgers had just finished being swept by the Rockies and played about as poorly as they had all year.
And no one cares now how they got in. They're in. It's over with. Now how are you playing right now? And how are you going to prepare for Friday?
Then it becomes as many as a 19-game season. 3 in the first round, 7, actually 5, 7 and 7. And you win 11. Only one team can do that. Grandal with a walk. And here comes Puig. He was not going full throttle last night in the 3 times that he was running.
It's interesting because on all social media, everybody was talking about Yasiel and not hustling.
First pitch, fouls it off. Norris is there, and that's going to do it. No runs, no hits. The walk to Grandal, and we'll go to the 6th with the Dodgers leading 2-0. Center field. Peterson's got a long way to go, and he tracks it down and runs into the wall and saves the day. What a catch by Jock Peterson.
We have guys who have played center field, and now we have a center fielder.
For the Padres, there was 2 on and 2 out in the bottom of the 9th back on Sunday, June the 14th, when Upton was robbed by Peterson, one of the great catches of the year. That would send the game into extra innings. The Dodgers would score 2 in the 12th and beat the Padres that Sunday 4-2. Here's Jimmy Garcia, his turn to pitch. J.P. Howell, a third of an inning. 2 pitches, 1 strike, and got the out to end the 5th. Cody Decker is now pinch hitting for the Padres as we enter the 6th inning. Rangers 3-2 over the Angels after 5.5 in Arlington. So Jimmy Garcia and his 59th appearance. He was actually one of 16 different starting pitchers for the Dodgers this year. Made one who was one of those bullpen committee deals. One ball and 1 strike. Well, yesterday, of course, Max Scherzer had the no-hitter and was 1 error from perfection. This afternoon, the Nationals are hitless through 6 innings at Citi Field. No score between the Nats and Mets, and that's a game that really doesn't count for much. We can tell you Jacob deGrom, who will be the opening day starter on Friday against the Dodgers, went 4 innings with no hit ball. Decker down on strikes, and that's the first out of the 6th. Number 2, Melvin Upton Jr. Now Melvin Upton Jr., who was struck out twice today by Kershaw. Clayton would strike out 7 on the day. Upton, when he was struck out in the 3rd inning, was the 300th strikeout of the season for Kershaw. Upton takes a strike, and it's 0-1. John Edwards is warming up in the Padre bullpen now. Upton has been struck out in 5 of his last 6 plate appearances. Greinke took his meal money 3 times last night, and Kershaw struck him out twice today. Up the middle into center field for a base hit. A 1-out single for Melvin Upton Jr.
Derek Norris.
Here's Derek Norris. He's 1 for 2.
I like this battle right here for Yimi Garcia. Derek Norris is a pretty solid hitter, and Yimi trying to do a tune-up, maybe trying to impress people here. And I like to see when he's pitching out of a jam, how his body language is and how his makeup and character is. As he keeps attacking, or does he back down?
Going outside, 1 ball, no strikes. The Astros and Diamondbacks are now tied at 2 after 4.5. They're playing in Phoenix. Rangers a 3-2 lead on the Angels in Arlington.
No lead is safe there in Arlington. Last night, the 5 runs in the 9th by the Angels. So a lot of time there for them to come back. Some of the longest days of my life being the pitching coach in Arlington.
Oh, the Ranger bullpen had been on fumes. I think when Tollison came in yesterday, it was 5th consecutive day. And then Ross Ohlendorf didn't do much good after that. Runner goes on 2-0. The throw is way wide. And Melvin Upton Jr. with his 9th stolen base of the year. The count 3-0 now to Norris.
I'd like to have a winning note right here if you're the Dodgers. You're up 2-0. It's the 6th inning. The home crowd is here on Fan Appreciation Day. You'd like to get it across the books with a W.
Solarte on deck. The 3-0 to Norris. No more. You were talking yesterday and the day before about Norris. And while it says on the scoreboard he's hitting 250, he's a tougher out than that number suggests.
Yeah, he's got great eye-hand coordination. He's going to battle up. He grinds out at bats, and on top of that, we already saw the infield hit, so he has speed, so he puts pressure on the defense as well.
And he takes a walk. 2 on and 1 out, and Solarte coming up. It's not unlike A.J. Ellis second half of the year. You take a look at Ellis's numbers coming into the game. He was hitting 238. But from the middle of June on, he was flirting with 300, 280s, 290s, and hitting the ball as solidly as he had in quite a long period of time.
Ellis just doesn't have Norris's speed.
No. Off to the left, and Guerrero's got room. So Solarte fouls out, 2 out. So Yimi Garcia will now be facing Jed Jerko. Jerko has singled and flied to right. Yimi Garcia, the 4th Dodger pitcher of the day. It all began with Kershaw. He wanted to go 60 pitches. He went 60 pitches. He wanted to reach 300 strikeouts. He reaches 301st. He wanted to get ready for presumably Friday. Looks like he's pretty darn ready.
Check, check, check.
Yep. Check, please. So going into next Friday and Saturday, whether it's Kershaw or Greinke or Kershaw, both coming off terrific dress rehearsals. Yesterday, Greinke 1 run, 4 hits in 8 innings, 8 strikeouts and a walk. And today, Kershaw, no runs, 2 hits in 3 2/3, struck out 7, didn't walk anybody. Meanwhile, back in New York, Jacob deGrom, as he gets ready for the Dodgers, went 4 hitless innings against Washington.
I don't think the start times have been announced for Friday and Saturday, but if we have one of those shadow games, good luck to the hitters in the first 3-4 innings with those 2 pitchers on the mound, Clayton and deGrom.
Now you figure 1 or 2 of those weekend games will start right around 5:30.
With LA and New York involved, prime time, I think, for sure.
It's awful for a hit. As a hitter, you're going, okay, great. Look at who's on the hill. Who I have to face. And now I'm not going to be able to see too well.
Down on strikes is Jerko. 2 strikeouts for Yimi Garcia. No runs, a hit, a walk, and 2 left after 5.5. Dodgers 2-0. Friday, when they will be hosting the Mets. A week from today will be an off day, presumably travel day. Perhaps the Dodgers will fly on Saturday after the game. We'll find out soon enough. Monday and Tuesday of the following week at Citi Field and back at Dodger Stadium if Game 5 is necessary a week from Thursday. That's the Dodger calendar presented by 76. Now here's Big John Edwards, becoming the Padres' 4th pitcher of the day in his 11th appearance. 14 strikeouts in 9 2/3. So the Padres with an eye toward 2016. A number to know about the Mets as they come in. Seager with a fly ball to center field. Upton going way back. He's not going to get it, and either is anybody else. Corey Seager's 4th home run of the year. Seager now with 17 runs batted in. And the Dodgers take a 3-0 lead. What a shot that was. Corey Seager.
One youngster against another. Corey Seager gets great extension on this pitch right here. A fastball out over the plate. Notorious first ball swinger he has become since coming here to the big leagues, and he makes this one look real pretty.
Weren't you talking about Clayton Kershaw? Okay, getting the work in, check. 300 strikeouts, check, check, check. Corey Seager ready for the postseason, check. That's all. Just not only just ready for the postseason, ready for his big league career, and he's left it. He has made an impression so far.
A single, a walk, and a home run for Seager today. And this is Austin Barnes in his first at-bat. That was 400 and something. Juan Nicasio now warming in the Dodger pen. That was a fastball through the heart of the plate. The ball was wearing a sandwich board which said, "Hit me here." And Seager obliged.
Well, he did not miss it. There are times where you see those that say exactly that, and you end up fouling them off, and you're going, really? I may never see that pitch again. Well, oof, a fan got that souvenir.
3-2 to Barnes with Guerrero on deck. The other thing that's been so fascinating to watch Seager in his first big league month, he's hit everywhere in the Dodger lineup except first and seventh. And Clayton Kershaw putting an exclamation point on his season today. Barnes takes a walk. So Kershaw ends the year third in the National League in earned run average at .213. He ends the year leading the league in innings, 233. Leads the league 301 strikeouts. The opponents were hitting about $1.90 against him. A 1.73 ERA at home. Coming off his MVP and Cy Young Award season last year. Guerrero is 0 for 2. No balls and 2 strikes.
John Edwards can get it up there 95, 96 miles an hour. And Corey Seager hit that first pitch fastball out. I was thinking about the Mets staff, right-handers that throw really hard. And Corey has shown that he can catch up to those high heaters.
Guerrero is done, and that's the first out of the 6th. So how have the Dodgers done this year against left-handed pitching, right-handed pitching? Against lefties hitting .264 and 46 home runs. Against right-handed pitching, .245, but 138 home runs. DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Harvey, all righties. Steven Matz, the lefty, may not be able to go. He's had a series of health issues this year. And now he's got a sore side. Matt Harvey will only go one start. And that's in game 3. Peterson rifles one into the Padre dugout.
Matt Harvey controversy about innings pitched seems to be calming down a little bit now that he said, I'm going to go out there and pitch. But they definitely still putting him in positions to protect him, protect his workload.
They created an issue that need not have been created. And so finally it appears as if Harvey said, enough, I'm going to go pitch, and let's put an end to all of this. 0-2 to Peterson, a 2-run home run, and he has been struck out today. And he's been struck out a second time. 2 out in the 6th. Mets beat the Dodgers 4 out of 7 during the regular season. Here's Chris Heisy pinch hitting. No balls and a strike. The Dodgers hit .250 this year during the regular season. The Mets .245. Mets have actually outscored the Dodgers by about 20 runs. Dodgers have out-homered them by 10. Pitching, Dodger ERA is 3.45 and the Mets ERA is 3.45. The bullpen is where there's separation. Mets bullpen 3.44 ERA, ranking them 6th. The Dodgers bullpen 3.86, ranks them 11th. So Kershaw, Greinke, and you hope that Brett Anderson and/or Alex Wood can do what they're capable of doing. In the same fashion, Chris Heisy has shown what he is capable of doing. For Chris Heisy, his second home run with the Dodgers, his first was a grand slam. This is a 2-run shot, and the Dodgers now have themselves a 5-0 lead.
Well, Corey Seager gets a fastball out over the plate. Heisy gets an off-speed pitch that he stays back on and does not miss. Both of them were hit a very long way. Nice balanced swing, head on the ball, and the head watching it go out because he knew it off the bat that was going a long way.
Dodgers 5-zip, and Scott Schebler on the first pitch pops it to short right, and that's going to do it. Well, the solo home run by Seager in the top half of the 6th, and then the 2-out 2-run home run by Heisy. Dodgers tack on 3 more and lead 5-0 through 6.
And a drive to right, deep to right. Racing is Calhoun. It's gone. Ethier hits his second home run, and the Dodgers win it in 10.
The walk-off against the Angels. Ethier hit one in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And then after the one-out walk to Adrian Gonzalez, he would hit the 2-run shot. And Rosinski would take the loss. The Dodgers, with the walk-off win, would beat the Angels 5-3 on August 2nd on a Sunday afternoon here at Dodger Stadium. And on this overcast Sunday afternoon, Juan Nicasio becomes the 5th Dodger pitcher of the day. Yimi Garcia went 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And Nicasio, who has turned in a very solid season for the Dodgers. A 3.57 ERA in 58 innings. One of 16 different starting pitchers for the Dodgers this year. Clint Barmes 0 for 2 into left center field. A long run and tracked down by Schebler. A little basket catch. He is a very fast guy for the big size that he is.
Yeah, the turnover rate on his legs is really good. He doesn't have real long strides, but he moves his feet quickly as he turns them over, and he ran a perfect route with a really good jump.
That ball was hit really well off Barmes' bat, and his first step, the way he opened up on his left side and got that the correct angle to get to that ball, that was the difference.
Now Nicasio deals to Austin Hedges. There'll be no no-hitter in New York today. Clint Robinson, who's with the Dodgers in spring training, gets a base hit in the 7th inning in New York. Into right field for a base hit. Hedges singles to right with 1 out in the 7th.
Field number 5, Alexi Amarista.
Alexi Amarista stepping in. Rangers hitting in the bottom of the 7th with a 3-2 lead over the Angels. Pirates shutting out the Reds 2-0 in the 6th. Cubs 3-1 in Milwaukee. Milwaukee hitting in the bottom of the 7th. And in Houston, the Diamondbacks now have a 3-2 lead, with the Astros hitting in the top half of the 6th. Amarista fouls it off to the left, and Guerrero's going to run out of room.
This is definitely now like a spring training game where each pitcher is going to get a certain amount of work. Nicasio in there right now, and down in the Dodger bullpen you've got Luis Avilan warming up, so he's going to get his moment in the sun where he can come out and get his work in and get ready for the playoffs.
There's a real pitching coach, Rick Honeycutt, standing by today's acting manager, Jimmy Rollins. When you were the acting manager that one day, did you win?
No, we lost. I think it was like 1-0, or it was a low-scoring game, and we on the hill for the San Francisco Giants was Tim Lincecum. Here he won the Cy Young, so he was going out there to leave a lasting impression. So that was my excuse why we lost.
They fired the manager. They fired the manager.
Although that was A.J. Ellis's first start in the big leagues.
Really?
He'd come in, and his first time he had gotten in at bat. He'd only come in like late innings just to catch, but never had an at bat, and he was the starting catcher.
So let me get this straight. You gave A.J. Ellis his moment in the sun.
He thanks me all the time he sees me, so I appreciate that. He often does. So I'm always here for you, A.J.
Skip. 1 and 2. Hey, kid. Pop foul off to the left and out of play. I don't know if there were managers before Torre who did it after his team clinched, but the Yankees seemingly clinched every year, and so he had more opportunity to appoint an acting manager the final day, or at least the day after clinching. But he brought that tradition here, and Mattingly has picked up with it where he left off. So what did Joe tell you? Did he make out the lineup? Did you?
No, I did. I made out the lineup. He just told me, he goes, here are all the guys that cannot play, that will not play and cannot play, which was pretty much everybody. No, quite a few.
Up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. Hedges will hold at second. A bouncing single to center for Alexi Amarista.
So he told me, he goes, here's the guys, here are the starters that aren't playing. Here's who you have. So I was able to go make the lineup. And I had my coaching staff, and we sat there. I actually came in with 2 different lineups because there were certain guys I didn't know that weren't sure if they wanted to play the next day or not. They were going to decide on that morning how they were feeling, whether they wanted to or not. So I had to make a couple of lineups just in case they were in there or they weren't.
And if they didn't want to play for you.
Yeah, that's how I took it. But
well, here comes, speaking of acting managers, Jimmy Rollins. So he's going to come and get Nicasio. Luis Avilan had been warming in the pen. The Dodgers with a comfortable 5-0 lead. Nicasio's day is done. Avilan's day is about to begin. With 2 on, 1 out, top of the 7th. Dodgers up 5-0. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. Threatening skies overhead. The Dodger Stadium infield was covered with the tarp until about an hour before the game. We had rain overnight here in Southern California, but we have been rain-free through the game as Luis Avilan is making his 73rd appearance of the season. And with the Dodgers, this is his 23rd. In 15 innings, 8 runs and 11 hits since coming to Los Angeles, but he has pitched much better the longer he has been here. Travis Jankowski with Hedges at second and Amarista at first. 1 out, 5-0, top half of the 7th. Avilan, the 6th Dodger pitcher of the day. Takes a strike, 0-1 at 95 miles an hour. That's one weapon that Avilan has that J.P. Howell doesn't, velocity.
And that breaking ball of his, because of the arm speed, has more spin and more depth, so it's very, very sharp.
Into right field, Puig going back. He's at the wall. He looks up, and it's gone. Travis Jankowski with a 3-run blast, and the Padres get back into the game. It is 5-3. Jankowski's second home run with the big club.
Hindsight being 20/20, Luis Avilan would probably second guess this pitch right now, especially when the 95 gets turned around for a 3-run jack. Might think about throwing a breaking ball, but just throw a little cutter right there that he leaves up. And pretty much knew it as soon as it was hit, even though it's just barely out. Pull it down the line, only 360 to get it out there.
And Cody Decker is the hitter. Decker, a local product. And Jankowski with his second big league home run. Decker went to UCLA, graduate of Santa Monica High School. In his first big league season. So he has come home. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 5-3 Dodgers. And a ground ball to short. Seager goes out the speedy Decker by a step, and there's 2 out.
Omar, is it me or is Corey Seager's arm really strong? He didn't put hardly any effort in that. That ball got across the diamond in a hurry.
He got rid of that one quickly, but you know, he does have a strong arm. I mean, you have to have a strong arm to play shortstop. That ball kind of kicked, but what it shows is he's really calm. Just everything that he does is really calm, and there's no panic. I mean, we even heard, you remember we talked to Clayton Kershaw the other day, and we were asking him about Corey Seager, and he asked him, when's the last time you panicked? And that's the way he even plays, even in ground balls that take a different hop. I mean, that kicked off the mound, and a lot of times as you're going for the ball, and then you're like, it takes a different hop, so your instinct is to panic. Oh, no, I got to adjust. He just doesn't, and he makes it look too easy.
Rangers still batting in the bottom of the 7th. They've added a run and lead the Angels 4-2. Angels must win and hope that the Astros lose. Arizona's got a 3-2 lead at Chase Field in the bottom half of the 6th inning. But if the Angels lose, it won't matter. Two balls and a strike with 2 out in the 7th. Dodgers 5 runs and 5 hits. The Padres 3 runs and 6 on a day in which Kershaw went 3 2/3, struck out 7, didn't walk anybody, and finished the year with 301 strikeouts and led the major leagues in that category. The other thing that Kershaw led the league in was innings pitched. The big horse leading the Dodgers into the postseason. Golfed into right center field. Puig's not going to get it. And Upton will arrive at second base with a 2-out sliding double. Now Tyson Ross, a very good hitting pitcher, is coming up to pinch hit. Ross at 255. He's got a home run, 6 RBIs, a double and a triple. Joe's older brother,
Tyson Ross.
Pedro Baez, is warming in the Dodger bullpen. Built like an NBA swingman. Well, he's swinging here. And he takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Rangers have tacked on another run. 5-2 they lead. Hitting in the bottom of the 7th against the Angels. 1 ball and 1 strike to Derek Norris. Actually, it is Ross pinch hitting. Norris was 1 for 2 and a walk today. Good rip, but late on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Luis Avilan wants to finish this outing up with a positive note. Going into the playoffs, you don't want to have any little ghosts from your last outing.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 out.
The 3-run homer is a big enough nightmare, but to finish off the outing with a strikeout or a nice routine out, just walk off the mound, watch the home run away, and get ready for Friday.
It'll be here. It'll be against the Mets, and we just don't know what time it's going to start. Ditto for Saturday. Next Sunday, an off day. Week from tomorrow and Tuesday in New York. Ross down on strikes. That ends the inning. But the Padres come up with 3. That fella Travis Jankowski, a 3-run shot off Luis Avilan. 7th inning stretch, and the Dodgers lead by 2.
Got him. 15 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw to tie his all-time high, and what a time to do it. As the Dodgers defeat the Giants 2-1, the Dodgers sweep the series.
And looking back on that series, which began on a Monday night, August the 31st, and Tuesday and Wednesday nights, the Dodgers would sweep the 3-game series, winning each game by a run. And when you look back on the season, that was where the tide really turned, as the Dodgers would never be headed. Kevin Quackenbush now pitching for San Diego, and Utley swings and fouls it off. It's 0-1. That 3-game sweep. Going into that series, the Dodgers were 3.5 in front, and they would finish 6.5 in front by the time that 3-game sweep had been completed. And there was a 12-game period where the Dodgers went 9-3 and the Giants went 3-9. And so while the Giants were still mathematically alive earlier this week when the Dodgers went up there, it was only a matter of time. And who would pinch the pitch the clincher. Clayton Kershaw.
And what a night he had. Throw a one-hitter in a clincher game. And coming into it, it was against Madison Bumgarner.
The long throw is not going to get the hustling Utley. In that clincher, Kershaw threw 104 pitches. No runs and a hit, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk, going the distance. And the Dodgers would shut out San Francisco 8-0 and put an end to the season for the Giants, at least mathematically. Now Yasmani Grandal. Didn't start the day. Adrian Gonzalez did. You know, when the Dodgers and Mets will have at it beginning on Friday. We're talking about a lot of areas of common ground between the two teams. Offensively, they're about the same. Pitching, they're about the same. Neither team has a 100 RBI guy this year. Adrian Gonzalez leads the Dodgers with 90. Justin Turner has 60. Lucas Duda and Daniel Murphy each have 73 runs batted in for the Mets. The 88 Dodgers did not have a 100 RBI guy. Mike Marshall led with 82, and Kirk Gibson had 76. The 69 Mets didn't have a 100 RBI guy either. Tommy Agee in center field had 76. Cleon Jones, the left fielder, had 75. The 65 Dodgers had no 100 RBI guy, nor did the 63 or 59 Dodgers. One ball, one strike, and Grandal fouls it off to the left. Ronald Torreyes is pinch hitting for Utley over at first base. Yasiel Puig is on deck. The Angels are coming undone in the bottom of the 7th. Texas now has a 9-2 lead. So the Rangers finally, it appears, are on the verge of exhaling.
9-2. 5 runs to get off the mat last night for the Angels. It's pretty hard to do that 2 nights in a row. 6 outs to do it, but they're still not out of the inning where they're down 9-2.
Grandal takes call, strike 3.
It's been sad to watch his slump. It really is, and I hope he can turn it around in the playoffs. He's going to have some good solid BP time between now and Friday. He's going to put some work in the cage, I'm sure, and probably some work on the treatment for his shoulder to make sure all the stiffness and the range of motion is there.
Torreyes back with a head first slide. Yasiel Puig is 0 for 2. Ethier started the day. Astros are hitting in the top of the 7th in Arizona, and the Diamondbacks are leading them 3-2. 1 ball, 1 strike to Yasiel Puig. Pirates 3-0 at home against the Reds, hitting in the bottom of the 7th. And the Cubs leading the Brewers 3-1 in the top half of the 8th. This is one of those days where the outcome of this game didn't matter a whit to the Dodgers, and the outcomes of all the other games didn't matter. They're just observing from afar. 1-2 to Puig. And Puig with 2 different stints on the disabled list. There's 74 games on the DL, and Puig is down on strikes. Hey, keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Two out, and Corey Seager 2 for 2, including his 4th big league home run. A mighty wallop over the wall in center field. That came back in the 6th inning. Jock Peterson, a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning. Dodgers now with 186 home runs on the year. The Rockies came into the final day of the season with 185 home runs. So depending on what Colorado did today. Over the wall. That 8-9 rows back. So depending on what the Rockies did today, the Dodgers could well finish the season leading the National League in home runs, which is one of those big surprises when you think back to March and April. How would the Dodgers possibly replace all the power lost by the losses of Hanley Ramirez and Matt Kemp? Well, they hit a ton more.
I remember the quotes from Adrian Gonzalez in spring training. What a great scout he was, saying that, you know, we might not be getting him from 1 or 2 slots, but we're going to get double-digit home runs across the board from a lot of guys.
Last year, the Dodgers hit 134 home runs. This year, 184. Well, the Rockies are being shut out through 8 in San Francisco. And a base hit for Seager, who is 3 for 3. And Torreyes will go to 3rd. Well, somebody's ready for the postseason, apparently.
Well, there is no higher league, so you have to stop here, young man. And the way you're playing right now, you're going to be here for a long, long time, but we're hoping this hot bat stays that way through October.
You were talking about there's no higher league, but Oral, you and I always talk about players that those 5A players. We got AAA, we got the big leagues, we got the 4A player, the guy between AAA and the big leagues, and then there's the 5A. I always thought the 5A guy was the guy who's in the big leagues but plays like he thinks he's trying to achieve another level. And right now, looking at Corey Seager, he's becoming that 5A player.
And I'm reminded back in May when he was tearing it up at AA. They called down there. How's that Seager kid doing? The response was he needs a new challenge. Within a few days, he was in Oklahoma City. In a couple of months, he was here. And there's a strike, 0-1 to Austin Barnes. First and third, 2 out. Seager's got a couple of stolen bases. Kevin Quackenbush is the 5th Padre pitcher of the day. So some of the Padres who may have driven themselves up to Los Angeles will drive back home or get onto the team bus, return to San Diego, and start getting ready for the winter. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Dodgers have a complete off day tomorrow. The guys are not going to be coming into the stadium. I know the people in the training staff appreciate that, the coaching staff, because they rarely get off days.
Well, there might be a couple who come in just to get treatment and stuff, but
there might be.
Yeah.
2-2 to Austin Barnes. That's Kenley Jansen wearing Rick Honeycutt's jersey today, as Jansen is the de facto pitching coach. 3-2 to Barnes, and Jimmy Rollins was the acting manager today. There's a real Honey behind the elbow of Scott Schebler, and there's the acting manager Jimmy Rollins next to Justin Turner.
Earlier, it looked like Howie Kendrick was the bench coach. Saw him by the lineup card.
On 3-2, call strike 3, and that ends the inning. Quackenbush strikes out the side, gives up a couple of hits. The Dodgers leave 2. We head to the 8th. 5-3, they lead. The Dodgers, Avilon goes 2/3 of an inning, a run and 2 hits, gave up the home run to Travis Jankowski. So here is Baez, the hard-throwing right-hander, his 52nd appearance, a 3.42 ERA in 50 innings. Now have a look at the DraftKings game summary. Clayton Kershaw, the 7 strikeouts gives him 301 on the year. Seager 3 for 3 for Corey, his 4th home run of the year, and Heisy a 2-run home run, his 2nd with the Dodgers. The other was a grand slam. So the Dodgers in the final game of the regular season. 2 innings remain if Baez and company can get the job done. So 42,863 on Fan Appreciation Day. Greinke terrific last night. Kershaw equally good today as they were doing their tune-ups for next weekend here at Dodger Stadium. Yangervis Solarte leads off in the 8th. Into right, and in is Puig. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 8th.
I like it. First pitch, off-speed pitch from Baez. That's outstanding. I think some of the time he has trouble, he just keeps backing into his fastball.
Now Jerko 1 for 3. Imagine the players feel like it's the last period of class before Christmas vacation. Just watching the clock tick down. get a couple of days to collect their thoughts. A complete off day tomorrow. Friday and Saturday here at Dodger Stadium. Times of the game's not known yet. We do know Jacob deGrom is going to pitch the first game for the Mets. Syndergaard the second game. Matt Harvey game 3 in New York. Dodgers have not shared with us, or anybody else for that matter, the rotation in the first 3 games. Jed Jerko to third. Picked up nicely by Guerrero. Throws a strike to Grandal. 2 gone.
I can remember back 88, other playoff years, you find yourself in these games, especially as a starting pitcher, watching this game, but thinking about the lineup you're going to face in that playoff game already. You're already starting to mentally prepare. So back then for me, it'd be that, having guys like Keith Hernandez run through my mind, or Darryl Strawberry, or Kevin McReynolds. You just start to grind on stuff, and that's the part, Nomar, we talked about earlier about why it's hard to go to sleep in October, because you just can't turn it off.
Yeah, you think about everything, and you're always, and then when you have those days off in between the games too, where it builds up.
And like Charlie said about the last day of class before vacation, it seems like you can't get the clock to move fast enough to get the game time. And you have to really be conscious about not being mentally tired when the game starts. You have to find ways to relax your mind and to get and be distracted.
And you hope your body reacts the way you want it to, especially hoping that adrenaline kicks in, which it will.
I used to walk slower on purpose. I used to try and not think about baseball in certain segments of time on purpose so that I could not have that flat tire when all of a sudden the game's on and your adrenaline's been running all day, and all of a sudden it's game time and it's like you're done.
It's hard not to think about stuff like that because you're reminding yourself, I can't think about what I shouldn't be thinking about.
Right.
Okay, it's like that insomnia thing. You just, okay, I'm going to go to sleep now. No, you're not. It's hard. So that's where we are, and that's where the Dodgers are.
That's why you see so many card games and dominoes in clubhouses and cribbage boards and different things, because it's a way to kind of go brain dead and not have your adrenaline and pumping up. You get prepared, you watch your videos, you read your scouting reports, but once you've digested it and you've got your game plan to keep grinding and going over and over and over again, you just get worn out. So you've got to find something that you can relax.
Oh, you said it many times. It's the 162-game marathon, and then it's the postseason sprint.
Yep.
But there's no place on earth you'd rather be.
No, and once you get that buzz, you can't wait to go back.
Oh. There's nothing like it.
People ask you when you're retired, do you miss playing? And I say, I miss playing well, and I miss the playoffs. I don't miss the days I got bombed. I don't think you miss your offers.
No, you're right. You do miss you miss playing well. But yeah, you touched on it. The postseason. That's what it's about. To me, it was just so fun.
It is. The endorphins, the adrenaline, the value of everything. It's just a place you want to be.
3-2, and Barmes takes a walk.
Catcher number 18, Austin Hedges.
Austin Hedges stepping in. Diamondbacks are hitting in the bottom of the 7th. Astros and the D-backs are tied at 3. The Angels are getting crushed 9-2 after 7.5 in Texas. So it's beginning to look like the Angels' valiant race has been run. Their amazing comeback yesterday. But the Rangers rebound, at least to this point today. Now that's a Ranger team that is looking forward to a few days off. Their bullpen has been taxed. They made a terrific comeback over the final month of the season to overtake the Astros. They came within an inning of clinching the West yesterday and then had their heads handed to them. But today they have rebounded and responded with a 9-2 lead over the Angels. Rangers hitting in the bottom of the 8th. Grounded foul up the third baseline. Ian Thomas is warming up in the Dodger bullpen. There was one guy screaming, "Let's go Dodgers," trying to start that little forest fire and flickered out.
Everybody's ready for the postseason.
Fans are too. Hedges is down on strikes at ends of the inning. The fans are already getting into postseason mode. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, Dodgers 5-3. Chopper to short. Seager. And that is how the West was won. The Dodgers, for the 3rd consecutive year, win the National League Western Division title. That is something this franchise has never done before. Go to the postseason 3 years in a row. Not in the 125 years that Dodgers have been doing business. Back in the days from the Bridegrooms and the Trolley Dodgers, the Robins, the Dodgers, Don Mattingly guiding the Dodgers to the postseason 3 consecutive years. Alex Guerrero leads it off. But there's an asterisk in all of that. Dodgers, of course, in a 6-year period from 51 to 56 would go to the postseason 4 times. Actually 5, missing it in 54 when the Indians and the Giants played. That was the year of the Vic Wertz, Willie Mays catch. And in 51, of course, Bobby Thompson, the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. But from 51 to 56, the Dodgers were as good as anybody. And then finally in 55. In fact, that was today, wasn't it? October 4th, 1955. Padres and the Dodgers shut out the Yankees 2-0. Well, on this final day of the season, as Guerrero's done, congratulations to D. Gordon, Flash Jr. He's the National League batting champion. Went 3 for 4 today and finishes the year at .333. Bryce Harper went 1 for 4 today, finishes the season at .330. Consolation prizes in order, of course, for Bryce Harper, who tied with Nolan Arenado for the league lead in home runs with 42. And Harper finished the year with 99 runs batted in. But D. Gordon couldn't be happier. The Flash Gordon's son. You played with Flash, Dad, didn't you know?
I did. A few years over there in Boston. He was when he was a closer over there in Boston. He what was it, the Rolaids Relief Pitcher Award they get for the best closer? Well, he won that. He went. I forgot. It was like 40-some consecutive games without blowing a save. He was unbelievable.
Big time curveball, right?
Oh yeah,
Curveball from the sky
and competitor going after you.
He was one of those guys who somehow had an on-off switch. He was a calm, reasoned, terrific, laid-back guy until about the 6th inning when he arrived in the bullpen. And then he would pace, and he would huff, and he would puff. And if you had a half a brain in your head, you keep a healthy distance from him. And then as soon as the day was done, he was back to being flashy.
A fun teammate to have, too. Fun to be around.
But he would pace back and forth and back and forth. He was able to channel those emotions into a great career. The Dodgers finished the year paid attendance of 3,764,815. That's their third highest in Dodger history. Dodgers led the majors in home attendance and road attendance this year. So the Dodgers are an inning away from their 55th home victory, matching what they did in 1980. But the Dodgers, the 1953 Dodgers, home record 60-17. They won nearly 80% of their games at home. In 55, they were 56-21. And the Dodgers now on the verge of being 55-26. Those Brooklyn Dodger teams were so good, and each year they ran into the Yankees. 59, of course, would be the second year in Los Angeles. 63 and 65. The Koufax and Drysdale teams. Nick Vincent is the Padres' sixth pitcher. Justin Ruggiano is pinch hitting. So Ruggiano is down. And now Scott Schebler stepping in. Schebler 0 for 2. Into short center. It's going to drop in front of Upton. And on his way to third base is Peterson, and he is safe. So Schebler with a bloop base hit.
2 out, man on first. As soon as contact is made, you're off and running. And so even on a bloop hit, Jock Peterson, you don't want to make the first or third out at third base. But he gets in there safely.
Velarde dropping the ball made the point moot. And here's Ronald Torreyes. Takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Two out, 2 on, 5-3 Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th. It rained overnight. It was kind of spritzing as we were arriving early this morning. Field was covered with a tarp up until about an hour before game time. And into center field for a base hit, Ronald Torreyes, scoring Jock Peterson. And the Dodgers take a 6-3 lead.
Torreyes. Talking about the young guys coming up here in September, getting opportunities. While it's the last game of the regular season, you still want to leave an impression. Gets a fastball up. Did a good job getting on top of that ball. Taking it back up the middle.
Dodgers bought him from Toronto on June the 12th. And spent a good portion of the year at Oklahoma City. And here he is. He's got good speed. Schebler is at second base. And Grandal looking for that elusive hit. Grandal down to 234. 0-2. High. Two balls and 2 strikes. Angels are down to their last inning. And the Rangers have a 9-2 lead. Pirates are on the verge of shutting out the Reds. Grandal is done. So the Dodgers, they score an insurance run at the bottom of the 8th. We go to the last inning of the final game of the regular season. Dodgers 6-3. Terrific performance, getting ready for the postseason. He's our Lexus player of the game. Went 3 2/3. He wanted to go about 60 pitches. Went 60 pitches, 43 for strikes. Wanted to reach 300 strikeouts on the season. Needed 6 to do so. He struck out 7, gave up no runs and 2 hits. Obviously not involved in the final 1-loss decision. Didn't go long enough for that. He just got himself a good tune-up, and you tip your cap to Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers have still not announced the order of the rotation, but one would think it'll be Clayton going on Friday. Frankie on Saturday, and then an off day next Sunday. Game 3 will be Monday in New York, and here's Hatcher to close things down. First pitch fouled off, and it's 0-1. Hatcher's been pitching much better down the stretch. Scoreless relief outings in 11 of his last 12. And since coming off the DL in the middle of August, an earned run average of 137. And opponents are hitting 188 against him.
The velocity didn't go up, but the off-speed pitches got better, and the location got a lot better. And he changed his mechanics and his alignment a little bit. Got him so that he is opened up and downhill a lot more when he's releasing the ball, and it's really helped his consistency.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Alexi Amarista beginning the 9th. The game is over in Texas. The season is over for the Angels. Rangers win it 9-2. A great run, an exciting, thrilling run down the stretch for the Angels. 3-2 to Amarista. With Travis Jankowski on deck. After Kershaw today, it's been Peralta, Howell, Garcia, Nicasio, Avalon, Baez, and Hatcher. Amarista down on strikes. First out of the 9th.
Number 16, Travis Jankowski.
Jankowski hit a 3-run home run off Avalon back in the 7th inning. Nicasio retired the first batter he faced. Then Hedges and Amarista would single. Avalon came in, lefty against lefty. Bang, Jankowski hit a 3-run shot. Only 3 runs for the Padres today. The Dodgers 6-3 with 1 out in the 9th. No balls and a strike to Travis Jankowski. Last year, the Padres finished at 77 and 85, 17 behind the Dodgers. If things continue as they are, there's 1 out in the 9th. The Padres will finish the season at 75 and 87. 2 games worse off than they were last year. Last year, 17 behind the Dodgers, and should the Dodgers hang on, they'll finish 18 off the pace. The Dodgers last year won 94. They'll finish the year with 92 wins. Jankowski is done. There are 2 out.
Chris Hatcher throughout this year has had some bad memories out there on the mound, but he's turned things around since coming off the DL, and those 2 strikeouts right there, and get a routine out right here. It's some good momentum to go into the playoffs.
Cody Decker. Santa Monica, UCLA. Takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Last year, the Dodgers finished 6 in front of San Francisco. The Giants are getting beaten up tonight or this afternoon. So the Dodgers will finish 8 in front of the Giants. And with 92 wins, the Dodgers will be 2 off the pace that they had last year. To third base, Guerrero's got it. And that ends the regular season for the Los Angeles Dodgers, winners of the National League Western Division. They finished the year at 92-70. And now the next stop, the first game of the National League Division Series, which will be here on Friday against the New York Mets. The Dodgers 6-3. Clayton Kershaw on this day finishes with 7 strikeouts, 301 on the season. And that is a wrap for us here at Dodger Stadium. For Alana Rizzo, Oral Hershiser, Charlie Steiner saying goodbye, and now we're going to send it back to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan. Next stop for the Dodgers, it's the postseason.